get it.
S-D-P, the Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wylde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Hey, TJ! Hey! Just happy birthday and a move to The Athletic. That does not mean he will not be on SDPN. I don't know why people always assume that. He works at TSN, he works at The Athletic, and he works here. Yeah, people were like, well, what happens to the CJ show? And I'm like, it remains. That's how they tweet. So, anyway, happy to hit. And by the way, he ran in the Toronto Marathon yesterday, too. Because fucking whatever, man.
Nice. What an animal.
Maddie says that he reminds her of a lumberjack.
Yeah. And he's okay.
And I like that.
He sleeps all night and he works all day.
That's right. That's a very masculine thing to be, I think. Yeah. What do you think? I could believe lumberjack.
What about a lumberjill?
It could be that
Adam?
too.
I would support one of them. Is that a thing?
Start.
We were talking specifically about CJ here, but yes,
Yeah.
I would, of course.
Yeah, but
Start to the program.
you support one thing, which means you don't support another.
Oh, you know what? That is how the world works. And don't forget nuance. Forget nuance. Now, I want to throw something your way just to make you happy. Other than CJ. Better fucking catch it. No, Jesse, I just sent you a tweet, and I meant to put this on last show. This is from game one with the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay? So already you're going to be happy because Matthews had a hat trick, right?
Let me guess. Ryan Reaves is running around in his own end.
No, it's not that.
Oh, no?
It's not that.
I can't wait.
It's a lovely little picture.
Oh,
and I
okay.
just thought,
I want to see.
Sometimes I want to start the show with some wholesome stuff. It's been a really hard week and a half of news, not just around the world, but even in the NHL with the Pride tape stuff. We had Brian Burke on, by the way, on Agent Provocateur.
I saw.
He was great. You should definitely check out that episode. And man, he doesn't mince words. That's what I love about Berkey. But I love this picture. Can you see who in this picture matters the second most? We know the first most, and he's in the foreground.
Yes.
Who is in the background?
Oh, that's Jim Treliving.
That is Jim Treliving and his wife.
Oh, okay.
And that's when Matthews scored, and Jim Treliving and his wife are getting up to cheer. How amazing is that? He's in the front row.
You know what?
And he's got the scarf, and he's blue and white. Like, come on.
I do appreciate the effort because he's like, well, I'm a businessman, so I got to wear a suit, but damn it, it's going to be leaf blue.
Jim's got to know better. Those are bad seats.
They are bad. They're rough seats.
Those are bad. You never want to sit on the glass at a hockey game.
The one thing I would say about those seats, though, is, and this is key for somebody like me, that you can run to the bathroom very easily from there. He can walk right out.
Oh, because you know specifically where all the bathrooms are at Scotiabank Arena. Because you've been there so often.
Well educated.
You're always at games like you were at on Saturday when you're in the Scotiabank Club. What is it?
No.
What is it?
No. How dare you?
MasterCard Club?
MasterCard Lounge.
Oh, Lounge.
MasterCard Lounge.
MasterCard holder,
rich
it
guy.
allows you to have specific privileges. And if you want to live a privileged existence, you just need a MasterCard.
We don't own your level of MasterCard.
No, you don't. You don't. No, you do, actually. Everybody's entitled to it, which is kind of cool. It's Leafs. There's a whole bunch of Leafs and Raptors benefits. You'll see it on my social media and some of the SDPN stuff as well. But it actually is a fully renovated new lounge, and it was pretty cool. And you know what was great? As influencer guy, because that's what I was, they have chargers at every seat. So you can charge your phone at every seat. So,
no way.
So at the bar section, it's like you can plug your phone in, you're good. So I brought my charger with me. Thinking I'd have to sit by a wall or something. No, I sat at my seat, watched the game, charged my phone.
So you were a big influencer guy.
Big influencer guy.
So how soon until we see you on my new favorite subreddit that I think you would love?
What is it?
I'm the main character.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, I was there with somebody who's a real influencer. Her name is Tori Webster. I met her there, and her dad were there, and her dad's a huge Leaf fan, and he played junior, and it was a goaltender or whatever. So I sat and hung out with them all night. And she's the true influencer, doesn't give a shit. I'm going to do my thing. You might need to get out of my shot, that sort of thing. Whereas I'm apologizing to everybody while I'm going, there's food and whatever. I'm
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I have to
Pardon me.
film it. I'm sorry. Can you wave? Do you mind waving? You know what I mean?
How was the food?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Actually,
what was it?
They had they had like roast beef there, but they also had roast turkey, which I love. And they had a
roast. You went to a hockey game and they had roast
turkey.
You had roast beef
and they also
at a hockey game,
so
like the friggin' Grinch.
So the turkey was they slice the turkey, whatever, give it to you, and then you have there's a jerk sauce gravy.
The chef
that you put on it.
Slice the
yeah,
turkey?
right in front of you. Well, no, because there's like a buffet, right? But it's a high end one, and they also had grilled pineapple, which I love. And they did have sushi there, but I know, out of character for me, I did not have any.
Wow.
Because the roast on the turkey was too good.
Did Frank Corrado come and give you a jar of tomato sauce?
No, he didn't.
No?
No, it was good.
That's garbage.
Was he was there, right? With
I assume so.
He does the call. I think he calls some games there for.
Yeah, he's on the radio now.
Yeah,
he does the
pretty sure.
pregame show. I know.
Okay.
Hear him on
Well, anyway,
radio on
I gotta tell you,
1050.
it was quite the view, and it was very cool. So anyway, yeah, no,
I'm glad for you, man.
Not a great influencer. I'm not. By the way, it's funny. These two make fun of me, but we're all going to a game together with MasterCard later this year.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
When?
No, email.
This is news to me.
Yeah, no, we are. All three of us.
Are you sure I'm able to go?
Yeah, you have to go. This
Oh.
is your turn.
Well.
Jesse and I have both done our turns. It's your turn now.
I didn't go to a game.
I had
Talking about.
You went to Real Sport.
I had the opportunity to go to the Minnesota game, and I turned it down because there's something I'm working on, and I'm putting myself in work jail for that.
You shouldn't.
And yeah, I regret it.
You should have been at that game. I got to tell you, I want to start today's show truly, like this first segment here, with a video, and it's from the Leafs Blueprint, Jesse. It's on Twitter. And it's going to make you upset, especially if you're on Twitter on Sunday morning and you're like, damn, dude, I need something to be mad about.
We can't play like half of it. It has highlights in it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can play the
All I
back.
want is
We can play the back half of it. So
Yeah.
give me a second.
All I want is the back half, because the back half is what matters. Now,
I always say high five, glute bridges.
That's right.
First thing in the morning, every morning. Let's go.
got to keep that power dumper going, you know?
Sure do.
So I think the what I loved about this was there seems to be some really great teammate to teammate interaction happening with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, now I know it was on camera, but let's be honest. Hockey players are not great performers for the camera. Okay? So usually when you see something, it's pretty real.
You take them off the ice. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, do you remember the Leafs Blueprint on Amazon? And how they had like John Tavares' speech at that last speech before. Come on, guys, we gotta fucking go get the fucking fuck. And I'm like, okay, this.
He went junior on that one. He reverted back to the OHL.
Yes.
He's just like, all right, I got nothing, so I'm gonna say fuck a bunch.
The guy who could speak really well was Sheldon Keefe. He had some great speeches in there. Now let's have a look at Sheldon Keefe. Obviously, you get a belt after the game awarded by your teammates. Auston Matthews got it the first game because he got a hat trick. He got another hat trick. Listen to the inside of this dressing room.
Got the ball, Matty.
Keep it.
Nice effort, boys. Willy, nice talks. Mo Daddy all over the ice tonight. But Reavo just setting the tone for the
Now that brings us to the most.
Boys, do one more, and then let's get on the road.
That brings.
Oh,
He said swear. He said a swear.
ooh, I'm so mad.
Now,
Ooh.
I want to set the scene here because I was at the game and I feel like as much as I don't know what it is right now, but if you are at the game, people like discount what you see. It's almost like, oh, you were at
don't
the
get the
game,
replay.
so you don't know shit. And because it's like you're not looking at, you're only using your eyes.
It's a different experience.
And I'm a fan, right? You have to remember, I'm a fan. So I'm going to tell you how it felt as a fan. When Ryan Reaves lined up and fought whoever the fuck from the Wild, I don't even remember who it was. Doesn't matter.
Marcus Foligno.
Great.
I almost said Nick.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's not right.
One of his buddies, right? One of his friends.
That's
from
why it
last
took
year.
me so long. I'm like, not Nick, the other one. Mark.
The entire arena stood up, and it was the loudest I've heard it since I was there in the playoffs. And I went to, as you guys made fun of me for, a lot of regular season games last year.
What?
Jesse and I went to a couple together.
Was it a specialty night?
It was
Like was there like a different crowd there? Because usually when there's a big fight, like they get up and go up. Well, I'm not for this nonsense, and they go to the concourse and buy some popcorn.
I have to tell you, there is an effort being made at Scotiabank Arena to bring up the energy level. And
it's bad.
The energy level traditionally has been bad, but I'm telling you, I've never seen. So first off, the fight was great, but it did set the tone, and I don't care what the stats tell you. It did sort of set the tone. The Leafs were pretty great after that. But beyond that, it set the tone for the fans, because the fans, and I'm not saying you should just fight to get the fans into it, but the music was far more high energy, just generally. Now, forget the goal song. Far more high energy. I've never seen people, and this includes playoff games, dancing in the aisles at a Leaf game. Even when the camera's not on them. Camera's not on them. It's not going around. I've never seen people just getting up and dancing. When I went to Yankee Stadium once, people just got up and danced. When we went to see the Red Sox guys, remember? People just got up and danced whenever music came on. We were like, this is so weird.
Jesse, what did you say about our experience at Yankee Stadium when we were looking around at all the people?
Something's happening with everybody. Something along that
Everyone's
line.
doing something.
Everyone's doing something.
No one was just sitting there watching the game.
Right.
Yeah.
No one. Not a single person.
Now,
weird.
People were watching the game when the puck was on the ice, but in between, people were up. They were dancing. Probably had a little bit. Maybe they had a few pops, as we call them.
Did they lower the price? Can you get a beer for under $30?
Don't think so. Doesn't matter though, because they were excited about it. And what I liked about this, and I actually liked the new Leafs goal song too, because it seemed to work because you can clap along to it. But the engagement of the fans was crazy, and it was the loudest I have heard it outside of a playoff game. And frankly, compare it to a playoff game. The only thing with playoff games is when they haven't scored, it's fucking silent.
Playoff games suck.
Because everybody are because we keep going to losing ones, Jesse.
No, because they were down by one goal the entire game. And how are you supposed to cheer? Everyone's just nervous because we're like, it's happening again.
I went to a game where Dart Guy should have been at least third star. The Leafs were losing, I think it was 2-0 to the Washington Capitals. It was Game 3, 2017. They put Dart Guy on the screen. Mm-hmm. Everyone started going nuts. And what followed that, I'm pretty sure the shift after that was that shift where Kadri and Komarov blew up everyone on the team and then Matthews scored. Dart Guy was third star. Third star that night. Willy for the tying goal, Bozak for the winner.
I want to know what happened on Wednesday, because everybody says complete opposite about what happened night one of the Leafs.
Usually night one's pretty...
Adam, you were there.
No, I wasn't there, but I do.
What?
I have heard that same thing, and I think that first period was quiet. There's no question. Mm-hmm. But I have to tell you, whatever it was, Wednesday did not translate to Saturday, and I think...
right, but there's no reason it should have been like that on Wednesday, because there was a fight. There was 3 goals by Auston Matthews. It was the introduction of all the new guys, like they came out and did the pregame stuff. So I wonder what the atmosphere, why it's so different from like
Saturday,
the big game to the weekend. Yeah.
But I honestly, I've been to a bunch of Saturday games. I've not seen it like this, and I'm not attributing it completely to Ryan Reaves fighting. I don't want anybody to misconstrue me here, which they'll try to anyway. I think, guys, you have a very exciting team that is a bit of a tire fire sometimes on their own end so far. Mm-hmm. And you have some guys that are willing to fight. And Twitter is its own thing. We have to remember that. Twitter, what people think on Twitter, rightly or wrongly, is it's one part of a huge pie. And I have to be honest, a lot of people from Toronto like a good old tussle on a Saturday night, and you could see it.
Trying to make the Leafs into the 2002 Red Wings, as good as that team was never going to work. It's not the team that this city wants. And I didn't realize that until a few years in. It was never the team this city wanted. They, rightly or wrongly, want to be the 93 Leafs. Or even like the 2002 Leafs, who were tough nuts as well. They want a rough and tumble, gritty team.
Now, there is a point to be made, gentlemen, about Ryan Reaves, because the whole discussion, and Jesse did a whole podcast on it yesterday, which was really good.
That was really
the conversation about Ryan Reaves is very interesting because, and we'll talk about Matthews. Yeah. He's got 6 goals to start the season. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
Are we doing a disservice to the Toronto Maple Leafs by not talking about back-to-back hat-tricks?
I think the fact that this is a conversation is a disservice.
Get an assist, Austin. Boo.
He
has 0.
Selfish.
0 goose eggs through 2 games. Bum.
Who are you, Kuzmenko?
Yeah. What?
That's the
mean
Columbus
Marchenko?
guy? Is it? No, it's Kuzmenko.
Kuzmenko's in Vancouver.
Oh, it's Marchenko.
Yeah.
One of the Co's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One of the Co's.
The Ankos.
Not assistant Co.
So the point I'm trying to make is, yes, I bet Ryan Reaves' advanced stats suck now.
What?
And they're going to suck, are you ready? All year. But
What? That's so weird because everyone predicted they'd be great.
no, I think everybody suggested that they wouldn't be. I think my point in this is, can we allow for the best players, like, you see, if Matthews' advanced stats suck, then we got a problem.
Yes.
Okay? We got a big problem. If Nylander's advanced stat, if Morgan Riley, Mitch Marner, all these guys that are true stars, if their advanced stats suck, we're in big trouble.
I mean, if players stop doing what's expected of them.
But is it fair to allow for... People are like, well, where's their offense going to come from their fourth line? And my question to you is, when did they ever have offense on the fourth line, even when they tried to?
They tried that.
And when they tried that, what happened?
It didn't work.
Right. And
and the problem is when you do try that and it doesn't work, then what do you have?
Then you have no identity.
So
at
when
least
the
if you-
fourth line is out there, believe it or not, they are trying to score. But when they can't, they can do something else. I remember it was like, I don't remember who the center was. Let's say Nick Patan and Andreas Janssen when he was really young and Kasperi Kapanen when he was really young. And that's when they took Matt Martin off that fourth line. And they could roll four lines and they could skate and skate and skate. And when they didn't score, nothing else was happening. Mm-hmm. Nothing else was happening. That's the problem.
Because nothing else could happen.
Nothing else could happen. Oh yeah, Andreas, get out there and kick some at what?
I think what I'm suggesting here is, and this is something that, listen, a few years ago I would have bought in completely. Let's roll four lines and try to get them all to score. I get it.
Me too.
Me too. I think where my opinion has changed is that I've seen that happen. I've seen it not work. And I've seen the fourth line be a bunch of vanilla guys. Like, you remember that conversation, I'm going to bring it back to the blueprint, that Keith had with Jimmy Vesey, which was probably unfair. I want an identity. You're vanilla. The fourth
I thought
lines,
the conversation was fair. I think the way it was presented was a bit unfair.
Fair enough. But the point is that the fourth lines over the last few years have been kind of vanilla. I can remember some standouts, like Jason Spezza, spectacular fourth liner for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He was amazing.
Amazing player for the Leafs. I think David Kampf, when he's been on the fourth line, has been spectacular.
But Spezza changed his role as well.
What was his role?
He fucking banged and crashed, and then he could score as well. That was the difference with him. And then I want to say they had Joe Thornton with him, and they had the 2.5 men line. It was Joe Thornton, who also adapted his role a bit, and Adam Brooks, who they then perma-scratched. But,
Yeah.
They tried to form an identity.
And I know that it's way too early. And I know that in 10 games I could be like, shit, I was wrong. I'm fully allowed to open myself up to that. But at the same time, I'm going to ask you to allow yourself to say, maybe this could work. It's been 2 games. His expected goals for are not great. One of the reasons that it's not great is A, he's not an expected goals for player, and B, I believe his stat is hurt by the fact that TJ Brody blew a tire and there was a breakaway.
Yeah, so he's been on the ice for 2 goals so far. I got into this Twitter thing yesterday.
No, it's not. It wasn't a mean thing. It was a conversation.
Yeah, like I didn't want to be a dick or get into a fight or anything. I was just saying, like, in fairness, yes, he's been on the ice for 2 goals against. One of them, the Leafs had the puck in the offensive zone, which I believe is a good thing. And the puck went back to the point, which is fine and allowed. The defender at the point fell. There was a breakaway, and it went in the net. And I just wanted to know how that was Ryan Reaves' fault.
Jesse.
Yeah.
You did a whole show on this.
Yeah.
What were your what was the crux of your argument? Where do you sit on this?
Oh, where I kind of landed was that if this actually becomes a problem, the Leafs will fix it. And they've had their star players score back-to-back hat tricks, and they started the season 2-0, and it's not a problem, and all the guys like it, and the fans like it, so it's not really an issue.
Of all the problems they've had over the first 2 games, Ryan Reaves is none of them.
Yeah, and if it actually becomes a problem where it affects wins and losses, the guys on the coaching staff, Sheldon Keefe and Brad Treliving up top, they're not dumb. Like, they'll be able to see that he's a liability.
I think there's a lot of fear, though, because of that, Jesse. Because there are people who believe It was dumb to sign him in the first place.
All right, so
Yeah.
Avs fans, because I asked for like questions beforehand just to get the feel of how people are thinking. Avs fans pointed out that they went through this in the 22 season when what happened?
They won the cup.
They won the Stanley Cup, and they won the Stanley Cup with a guy named Curtis McDermott. He's a defenseman. Sometimes he plays the wing, actually, just because they can put him anywhere because it doesn't really matter what he does on the ice because he's out there to just push people around. He's not out there to play any type of
He's not
competent
Nathan
hockey.
McKinnon.
No.
If I'm not mistaken, he's the guy who was holding the cup above his head in the bar and fell over with it. If you remember that clip.
That's funny.
So all through that 21-22 season, Curtis McDermott was in and out of the lineup. He played 58 games. In those 58 games, he had 89 penalty minutes, finished with 5 points. He played the season, in and out of the lineup, but at 5, he played like 5 minutes at a time. There's a couple nights I was going through his game log yesterday. He had like 2 minutes of ice time, and he played a full game. It's ridiculous. And when they got to the playoffs, Curtis McDermott didn't play a single game. He was in the lineup all season long, 58 games. They get to the playoffs where things actually matter, 0 playoff games. Because the coaching staff said, hey, we're not going to have him out there because it's going to hurt the team. But to get through the regular season, having this guy in our locker room, having him in the lineup because the guys really like him, and during the regular season, he can go beat people up and get some penalty minutes for us and rack them up. And it's important for our team. And the Leafs are in a similar situation, and they haven't really done this before because Wayne Simmons wasn't that. Zach Bogosian wasn't that. Like, people are making those comparisons.
Kyle Clifford, I think people.
Kyle Clifford
I don't
wasn't
see that
either.
that is not a fair
Dude, it's
comparison.
not-
No, they were
not
trying
even
something
close to the same.
completely different with those guys. And Ryan Reaves is a different animal. He's an animal like Curtis McDermott. And when the Leafs need it, they'll take him out or they'll leave him in if it helps.
Now,
Well,
let me-
and the Avalanche, who are a really smart team, they got rid of McDermott immediately.
No, he's still on the team.
He's still there.
Makes less than $1 million. Played
Yeah,
one
but-
game
okay,
so far this year.
okay, I'm gonna push. You said he pushes people around. I'm gonna push you around with logic. I'm
right.
gonna throw it. Come back at you here. Ryan Reaves makes over $1 million, not just this year, but the next 2 after that.
Son of a gun.
Right. And if you didn't get him to play in the playoffs, a lot of people will say, well, what was the point? If you wanted to get tougher in the playoffs, to which obviously you're going to say Domi Bertuzzi, right?
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, whether we like it or we don't, we agree or we disagree on this, you have to allow for the possibility that you could be wrong. And
No.
and I understand people making the argument because I understand the point of view because I used to hold the same point of view, but as times change and I've seen a lot of things happen with the Toronto Maple Leafs, personally, I'm open to this being a good thing. And you look at what Matthews does in that clip, right? This is the leader on the team. I was talking to somebody at the game and they're like, listen, and he was wearing a Tavares jersey. He's like, I love John Tavares. He's like, it's time for Matthews to be captain. That's what this fan said. Okay?
Damn.
And I mean, 6 goals to start the year. He's on a mission. I think Frank Saravalli said he scored already 15% of all the goals he scored last year.
Which makes it sound like he didn't score.
Or was it
all
5%?
last year.
Yeah.
It was 15.
15%.
It makes it sound like he didn't score. He had over 40.
The math is wonky. Yeah.
The math is wonky.
Also, your best player doesn't have to be the captain. Like, I think we can let Tavares play out his contract and move over the captaincy.
I look at it like this. Why can't this experiment just be that? Mm-hmm. Why does it have to be, no, he's bad already? When very clearly what happened on the ice on Saturday very much set the tone for the game. Do you think that Auston Matthews says that and gives him that belt if he's just trying to be nice to the guy?
The Leafs beat
no.
the shit out of the Wild. Like, not just on the scoreboard.
They were punishing.
Boldy's out now for what sounds like a while.
Which isn't a good
That's a
thing.
shame.
It is a shame, but who did it? Wasn't Reaves.
Domi, I think, wasn't
No, it was Morgan Riley.
Morgan Riley. Oh, Morgan Riley.
Morgan Riley fucking stapled him to the boards. And I think lost in the Reaves conversation with, 2 fights in 2 games, I haven't heard a single person bring this up. He didn't initiate either fight. And both fights come after hits that he wasn't penalized for.
Because they were clean, especially the Wild hit. That was a clean as a whistle hit.
Gooley, I understand people not loving that one. I did think he turned. I don't think that was intentional. The one in Gaudreau, fuck, man,
He just caught you.
I've been in fender benders that were more comfortable than that. That was a tough hit, and Wylde scored immediately after. Reaves wasn't on the ice for it. Mm-hmm. Wasn't Reaves. You know who was? Matthews. Get him off the team. Bum.
Yeah.
What did he ever do?
Well, and I think, guys, and I'll wrap the argument up here because it's just my opinion. Like, I don't have math or fancy numbers. I can tell you, based on feel, it felt pretty good on Saturday. And I think, one of my other friends, actually TJ's brother, TJ, who I used to work with on Virgin Radio, has season's tickets. Texted me, he said, that's the loudest I've heard that building in a long time. It really, and he's there all the time. I'm not making this shit up. I do think that Matthews scoring a hat trick and Willy having potentially already a goal of the year candidate probably had more to do with it than Ryan Reaves fighting. But at the end of the day, what have we talked about with the Leafs kind of lacking sometimes? It's a little bit of that swagger, a little bit of that confidence. And I said it before the start of the year, my personal bugaboo has been the Toronto Maple Leafs having guys come into the building and have fucking career nights again in front of their families.
All the damn time.
I want it to be fucking hard to play in Toronto, especially on Hockey Night in Canada, especially on Saturday nights. You're coming to Toronto. I want you to be a little nervous. I want that to be the case, and it's got to be goal scoring first. Mm-hmm. That's what matters.
Yes.
But here's the thing: the Toronto Maple Leafs have that sorted out. They're good at that. Yep. They've been good at that for 7 years. Mm-hmm. I want them to walk away with some bruises too.
I don't think Detroit Red Wings fans are gonna like this, but Tyler Bertuzzi and him fitting exactly what the Leafs want is great. Go and look at some of the photos of him. The look on his face,
He's
the way
having a great time.
The way he looks at Auston Matthews is the look of someone who's never played with a player that good. I know he played with Bergeron. Shut up. It wasn't for that long, and he was hurt. He is having a great time.
Scored a good goal too.
I was on his phone, or I was on my phone. Sorry, I'm not Mike Babcock. I was on my own personal phone. I misspoke. I was on my phone.
I have to apologize.
I was looking something up. There are 2 players on the Toronto Maple Leafs who have a goal in the Stanley Cup final. Who are they?
Ryan Reaves.
Ryan Reaves is one of them.
I know that.
Knew that.
Scored with Vegas.
I'm trying to think of Muzzin?
No, not Muzzin.
He's a scout anyway.
Although he might have, but I don't count
him. You can't count him.
Yeah.
You can't count him.
He might have, but I don't count him.
I'm pulling up the lineup.
I mean, we know it's none of the guys that we drafted. No, not Domi. So I thought it would have been him.
Because of Montreal.
He was traded to Columbus.
Yeah, he wasn't on that run, right?
No.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Can't be Klingberg, can it?
No, he never went to the Stanley Cup. Oh.
He went to the Cup final with Dallas.
Yeah, he did. Okay, so there might be 3.
Okay.
Did you even look this up?
All right,
I did look it up.
Who is
talking about?
Calle Yarncroke.
Oh, really?
He scored 2 goals in 21 games on that 2017 run to the final with the Preds, and one of them was in the final.
What about the 3 other guys it could be?
What about fuck you? What about I try to do something funny and you should eat shit? What about that?
I don't know. Maybe you should look it up before you bring it to the
I'm going to look up John Klingberg.
He scored 2 goals in the 19 playoffs. Klingberg did.
Cool. That'd be great if they went to the Cup final in 2019.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Dumbass. Idiot.
20. He's got 4 goals.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's see how quickly
we're going to get to the damn bottom of this. Oh, God, now the pressure's on. I hate this.
And you have to use the NHL app.
And I got to use by the way, holy shit. What a piece of garbage. He did score against Tampa. So they have 3.
So what was the point of this?
The point was fuck you.
All right. I don't know what the point of it is.
I don't know.
I was trying to make a cutesy Ryan Reaves point, and all I did was fucking...
And what was... Okay, make the point.
He scored in the Stanley Cup final.
So did 2 other guys.
And that matters because fucking Leafs haven't been there since before the moon landing.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so a few people had this, but I'm stealing this from Big Head Hockey. Players to score 2 hat-tricks for the first 2 games of the season. Cy Denny, Reg Noble, Joe Malone, all in 1917-18, which I believe was the first year of the NHL when it switched over from the NHA to the NHL. Mm-hmm. And also before the forward pass was allowed.
Yes. Wow.
So you had to. It was rugby rules back then. You were all back passing.
Difficult.
The other guy to do it, other than Auston Matthews, is Alexander Ovechkin in 17-18.
So
It all happened in 17-18.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
that was when hockey was hockey. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't we get back to that?
But interestingly, Reg Noble won the cup in 17-18. Ovechkin won the cup in 17-18.
Wow. That means
Is that interesting?
Could the
Leafs are
first
gonna
two
win the
games
cup.
really have an impact?
I think it could. You know, I just think it's incredible. Like, Adam, you'll like the framing of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 5 people have done it, but Matthews and Ovechkin are the only two to have done it since the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah. Not Treaty of Versailles. Treaty of Paris.
Wasn't it the Treaty of Versailles?
No.
When was the Treaty of Versailles?
I hold on. I'll have to look that one up. I
It
think
was
it's
the end of World War II or World War One.
Oh,
We're-
you're right.
we're
You're
losing.
Yeah, I am right.
You're right.
Losing
Oh,
the
eat
plot.
shit
You're right.
for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You're right.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Literally.
Just what? Because I screw
No,
up
you're
hockey
right.
facts? You think I screw up
No.
history facts also?
You're right. I give him
That's a good assumption.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Now, guys, Auston Matthews getting the 6 goals that he's had.
And no assists.
He is leading.
Selfish.
He is leading the NHL in points. Who is he tied with? Don't look.
Leading the
JT Miller.
No, in points and goals, he's leading the NHL. But I'm asking about points.
JT Miller.
Who is he? Not JT Miller.
Jack Hughes?
No.
Shit. Tim Stützle.
No.
No, he took less.
Josh Norris.
Stop it. Shane Pinto.
Jake Anderson.
Sanderson.
My bad.
Dare besmirch that
Ryan
contract.
Reaves.
No. Auston Matthews is tied with Elias Pettersson.
I knew it was the Canuck. I got the wrong one.
2 games. Elias Pettersson has 1 goal. Bum. 5 assists. 5 assists. And boy, was he spectacular against those two against Edmonton both times.
And 1 Superman hit on Cody Ceci.
There are 2 other guys who are. They have 6 points, but they've played 3 games. So Pettersson and Matthews have 2 games, 6 points. The 2 other guys have played 3, and they also have 6 points. And I'll give you a hint: they're on the same team.
Is it Stützle and Kachuk?
It is not.
Oh. They've played. I'm trying to think of who's played 3 games.
The Avs? McKinnon?
Nope. Good guess, though. Good guess.
I know who played yesterday. Tampa played yesterday. Anaheim played. Carolina played. Ottawa.
Is it someone on the Habs?
It is not.
Oh, shit.
Is it one of those 4 teams that played yesterday?
It is not. Oh, I don't know who. Hold on. Let me see. Who played yesterday?
Braden, Tampa, Ottawa, Anaheim, Carolina. I'm pretty sure it was the games.
No.
Oh, Frank Vetrano?
Nope.
Damn.
He said it was none of those teams.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Connor Bedard.
This
I'm
is
just gonna
bad.
give it to you.
Who is
I hate you.
Yeah.
Jake Gensel and Evgeny Malkin.
Oh, no
Jake
way.
Gensel and Evgeny Malkin. Okay.
Jake Gensel has the exact same stat line as Pettersson minus the game, so 1 and 5, 1 goal, 5 assists. Malkin's got 2 goals, 4 assists, and he actually had a really funny quote. They're like, you're leading the league in scoring right now, or you're tied for the league lead, and he's like, well, I hope the season ends tomorrow and I win the Hart Trophy, which I think was funny. And I just thought, hey, that's there's a lot of Kyle Dubas connection to 3 out of the 4 guys. You know what I'm saying?
That's why he got promoted.
What does Auston Matthews scoring 6 goals in 2 games mean to the early season? I'm not talking about the 82 game because
That they were right to sign Reaves.
By game 82, we're going to be like, oh, yeah, that happened. You kind of forget. But this has been a pretty electric start. What, guys, does this do for the team, for the fan base? What does it mean this early in the season?
Well, you can't take a ton of lessons from the early season, but you can help alleviate your insecurities, help alleviate your fears. And one of our fears was, what if he never flirts with 60 again? Like last year, for a guy who scored over 40 goals, it actually messed with a lot of people's heads. And here he is, not just getting 6 goals, and not just the fact that he looks like he is having the absolute time of his life. It's like he's proving it to himself that he can still do it, or maybe he's excited to show us all that he could still do it because he knew he could do it the whole time. He scored, if I'm not mistaken, 6 different ways. He's scoring in a variety. There was 1 goal he didn't even know he scored.
Which was the Tavares. I thought it was Tavares that scored.
He can score sharp angle bullshit goals. Yeah, the one that you thought was Tavares, and there was another one against the Habs. He I think, fanned on one, and if he didn't fan on it, whatever, he dangled Jake Allen out of his jock. There was a backhand wraparound. Who the fuck do you think you are, Doug Gilmour? There was one of his signature goals, which is Marner passing it to him and him just ripping it short side, and he also banged one in far side. I think I got all 6.
No, and you're the one where he was out in front, and then it was in versus Montreal, and the goalie reacted, and he just waited, and then he just went around him.
Yeah, I think that was the Deke one, wasn't it?
No, because
that was the game tying goal.
Yeah, he was just standing in front. He just held onto the puck, and the goalie reacted and just went around him. Yeah, the patience there, to understand. I don't need to shoot as soon as it gets on my stick.
Yeah, and is he going to score 1,000,000% forever? It's possible.
Sure.
If there were anyone I would believe it for, it's him. But he scored in a variety of ways, and this is a fantastic start to the season. Who is it more important? Who is more important on the team to get going than Auston Matthews? Nobody. So there are some teams not feeling great about themselves right now. The Edmonton Oilers, for example, they're not feeling great about themselves. That's gonna take care of itself in time. But today, for the rest of the season, unless some sort of injury changes things, you can be a Leaf fan and be like, Auston Matthews is going to be the most dangerous player on the ice basically every night of the season.
That would be nice.
On
We
both
want that.
teams.
Yeah.
On basically every night.
The other thing I want to talk to you about, and Jesse, I've got the video here. I don't know if we want to pull screenshot. Was the Nylander goal?
Oh my Lord!
So I was at that end of the ice, and
Oh,
I was on that board looking down as it happened. And
What's it like to see someone friggin' kill a guy in front of 20,000 people?
But it was funny because the now again, it's 2 games in, and I don't like to overreact, but here we are. I like overreacting actually. The thing about that William Nylander goal is it is the embodiment of all the talent he's already had this entire time, and that coaches and fans and everybody else has been frustrated when he doesn't bring. Because it was almost as though there was a switch, and I think this felt like this in the first game too. It was like there was a switch in his head that was like, no, I'm going to score now. This is, if you look at this.
He looks like playoff Willy.
Yeah, this is, no, I'm going to do this, and I've had enough of you. And that kind of William Nylander is extraordinarily dangerous.
Look at this. Look at this.
It's crazy.
Where are
what
you
he's
going?
doing.
You're lost. Dollar Tree headset. Oh my God.
Watching it in real time, it felt like it happened in slow motion.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but it just happened, and you're like, oh, he's dangling. There's another move, and then he just went around and he scored. It was poetry in motion. It was beautiful. And in the first 2 games of the season, he's looked like the second best player on the Leafs easily.
And oh my God. And doing this, like the Leafs doing what they did to Philip Gustafson, who I think the world of, like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
not great.
When Minnesota came back a little bit, it was 4-1. They made it 4-3. I was like, man, like getting 4 goals on Philip Gustafson, like not a lot of teams are going to do that this season. That should be enough, guys. Come on. And then they just continued lighting them up. It's a really encouraging start offensively. Mm-hmm. Defensively in the net.
Yeah, defensively, they let up a lot, and it's not been great.
Yeah, well. Yeah, but who wants to talk about that? Boom.
Yeah. Well, and I do. I think it would be improper of us not to mention what the Leafs have not done in front of Sammy. And I'm not talking about the full team defense game. I'm talking about when players get in tight around Ilya Samsonov.
Yeah.
Sergei Samsonov. Yeah. Ilya Samsonov. The
Caught
Leafs
yourself. Doesn't
just
count.
don't do anything about it yet.
No, and 2 of the goals where through 2 games where it's just been like a one-on-one battle in front of the net. There hasn't been a defenseman in sight. I want to say it was Tavares on one in the Montreal game, and it was Matthews in the Minnesota game. And I just can't remember that happening too many times last year. Mm-hmm. It's very odd.
So Sammy, for sure, has let in some softies.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there has been a little bit of the shielding going on too, in terms of like he's not able to see the puck.
He, if I'm not mistaken, had the highest high danger save percentage in the NHL last year.
That's correct.
Wow.
Or was it slot save percentage? Or and those saves aren't happening.
Not right now.
Maybe that corrects itself, or maybe this is the correction. That'll be fascinating to watch.
Joseph Woll will start tonight, which is great. Now,
He should be.
Before we get to the Bedard part, I know that this won't be necessarily like a popular take or whatever. Maybe this is too early, but I do think that he has the chance to establish himself as a starter right now. I think ideally the Leafs would like them in a platoon role, and I think most teams do. But I do feel like this season, if he plays like he did in the playoffs last year, there's a pretty good chance that he comes out at the end of this season as the guy who's going to play 50 games rather than 30 games.
Yeah. Well, how long did it take Sammy to establish himself as the starter?
Well, Matt Murray got popped something and was injured,
but even then, then Sammy goes down.
Yeah, that's right.
And Murray had a pretty good run of games, and Sammy didn't really honestly, it wasn't until the new year that it's oh, okay, you know what? This guy's the number one. He'll be the starter come playoff time, and it really wasn't confirmed for a while there. So let's chill with Woll versus Sammy. We need both of them to be good to get through an 82 game regular season. 80 left. There are 80 games left.
It's a lot of games.
That's so many games.
Yep. Yeah.
So let's get through this game. If he gets lit up by Chicago, then I'll be concerned. Let's get through this game. Sammy hasn't had a great start. That's not good. We need Wool to have a great start. That'll give us some confidence. Don't make it a him versus him thing. Same team, same team. Mm-hmm. You don't have to make that evaluation for 50 games.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe more.
Connor Bedard tonight in Toronto. He has 3 points in 3 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. Can the Leafs hope to contain him at 18 years old?
Good Lord. I don't think we should expect anything different from what we've seen over the first 2 games. I think the Leafs are going to score a bunch, and I think the Blackhawks are going to score a bunch. I think it's going to be stupid hockey.
The first 10 games are always a little like that, too. But the NHL is leaning a little more that way, too, which is nice. Yeah, it's way more exciting. 2
players who I'm looking at. Taylor Hall for Chicago. We thought he was going to be out week to week, which apparently means 2 days. And he's going to be looking to have the game of his life with his new best friend, Connor Bedard. And number 2, Max Domi.
Interesting.
A lot of the emphasis for, toughness isn't necessarily a good thing has been on Reaves, which is weird because Max Domi has 1 assist. Can anyone tell me the goal that it was on?
No idea.
Wasn't it the first one or second one?
No, it was the goal where Willy did everything.
Oh, the
in versus the Wild?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Oh wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's a -3. And he's taking some penalties. So he hasn't had a great start to the season. Oh, and he's already been kicked off his line. So he needs to have a big game against his former team. I think he's going to be shot out of a cannon. As long as he can contain it a little bit and not take any stupid penalties, he needs to have a big game.
I also want to mention before we move off of the Leafs is Fraser Minton has moved out of his downtown hotel and he has joined Matthew Nyes at John Tavares' house. And John Tavares really likes it because basically the 2 of them have to babysit his kids.
Kombucha keg.
Yeah, they're living in his basement, which is kind of funny, eh?
So he's got 4 kids now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just 2 of them are large.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
What a captain.
Yeah, no kidding.
I want a house tour of John Tavares' house.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Like a nice architectural digest, episode with John Tavares.
That'd be great.
You could see his nice house.
Okay, so
you know why it's important to have Nyes and Minton staying with Tavares?
What's that?
Because remember there was a debate over who's the better captain, Connor McDavid and John Tavares, because Connor McDavid had a heated driveway and Tavares was shoveling his own.
I don't remember that debate. Was
Well,
that
I
a real
remember
debate
having
that
it.
people had?
No, not really.
Oh,
It was
thank
me
God.
being cheeky.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, you know what, John? That's noble. You should not be shoveling that driveway. You need young backs doing that. And so now you have Matthew Nyes and Fraser Minton to do that nonsense.
I wonder if you can, Fraser Minton is going to get some favorable matchups tonight because the Blackhawks are, if they're anything, they're top heavy guys. If they're anything, that first line's good. and then they're the Blackhawks.
They'll probably be targeting that pairing.
Well,
the line, the Blackhawks will.
So I'm wondering how Fraser Minten matches up against like whatever the third line is for the Blackhawks. And I can't pull it out of the air right now, but I'm sure it's great.
I mean, you got to throw Corey Perry, Nick Foligno, and whoever else is on that line at Max Domi. Try to get him to take a penalty. Mm-hmm. And you're probably going to try to get
Foligno, Dickinson, Perry.
Oh, Dickinson. Oh, that's exactly what they're going to do. And they'll probably see a little bit of Austin's line too. Mm-hmm. Corey Perry's going to be a shithead.
Oh, yeah. But this is the thing. But this is the point. Mm-hmm. The point is you could pick and choose the players who are going to be total shitheads in Toronto, and what would be done about it?
Nothing. Shit all.
I feel like at least there's a chance they'll do something about it now.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Hope so.
Jesse.
What's up?
Did you watch Connor Bedard's third game?
No. Which game was that?
I believe it was Montreal.
On Saturday? No, I was watching the Leafs game.
You watched the Leafs game? You didn't watch any of the... Did you see any of the highlights?
I saw some of the highlights, yeah. I saw the highlights.
Do you believe...
They're talking about intermission. Botterill took like 3-minute segment during the... You wouldn't have seen this during the Hockey Night segment in between the Leafs game to do a breakdown of Bedard on the power play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Was actually kind of interesting.
Oh, that is really interesting. Yeah. Okay, I'm into that. Yeah. I wondered about this thing. Like it's super cool to be, and we talked about this. He's going to all these like arenas. He's going, he started in Pittsburgh and then going to Chicago and then Montreal and
Boston.
Boston, excuse me. And then he'll be in Chicago next Saturday night. Is there a chance, because travel's different in the Western Hockey League than it is here in the NHL? Is there a chance that he gets like a little jet lagged? Like I was thinking about him, like as a normal human being. Do you not get, like it takes some getting used to. There are adjustments.
No, because the road trips in the dub are like the worst in the friggin' world.
Okay.
Basically. Except for like 2013 KHL, which was stupid. The longest road trip in the KHL was 10,000 kilometers that year. 10,000.
Wow.
Kilometers. But in the WHL, you're taking like a bus.
Okay.
So like even if you're going to the team that's closest to you, you're still probably spending less time commuting by plane with the Blackhawks, no matter where you're going.
Now, do you, Jesse, believe that Connor Bedard will still get over 40 goals this year?
Yes, easily.
So you think that's going to happen?
I think
you're feeling confident in that.
Over under we mentioned. I think the Blackhawks previous 30. It was like 36.
Yeah, something 36 and a half.
Yeah, I think he'll still beat that. He'll be in and around that number, like 38, 40.
The second I take my foot off the gas with Bedard, he lights the Leafs up for 5. So I'm going to say, yes, he's still going to get over 40. You bet.
If you need a nutritional foundation to your day, Jesse Blake, what do you recommend?
AG1.
Now, one of those things that gives you the full vitamin support that you need throughout the day. A lot of people, when they take it, they kind of go, man, it's so much easier than like fumbling around with pills or finding the right vitamins. It's got sort of everything in it. And do you feel better after taking it?
100%. Yeah, it's so much better than like the gummy vitamins. Like you'll get the multivitamins.
Listen,
those things are so ridiculous.
They're fun, but they don't really have the effect.
No, it's not. I feel like it's not comparable. AG1's just so much better.
And heading into the holidays, it turns you green.
It's got a science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food sourced nutrients. You might feel like the Hulk, but you won't look like it. And here's the thing. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/STP. That's drinkag1.com/STP. Check it out.
The underrated part of that is the vitamin D. At this point of the year where the sun is going down so early in Canada, it's like 6 p.m. and it's dark outside. The vitamin D is really important for you.
This show is brought to you by BetterHelp.
Hey.
It is that time of year where things get a little bit hard. It's a bit of a grind. I know in Toronto, it's been kind of rainy and cold all of a sudden. We had a really nice September, and then we didn't.
It's a dark autumn.
It is. And that's the thing, is that the days are getting shorter. The time is going to change soon because we still do that. And you might find yourself needing somebody to talk to. BetterHelp might be a great option for you. You can talk to somebody on the phone. You can talk to somebody on video chat. You can talk to somebody just on text message. And with BetterHelp, you get matched within 48 hours, which is a lot faster. And frankly, it's a lot more cost effective than a lot of the other ways that you can find therapy. It's one of those things that, we all believe in very much in therapy, regular therapy. And BetterHelp's a great way to get it.
Especially in autumn.
Exactly. So, if you'd like to try BetterHelp in the autumn, BetterHelp.com/SDP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. All right. Now, one of the things that Steve mentioned in the Leaf segment, getting out to a good start, is at very least it doesn't reinforce your insecurities. One team who's got to be feeling insecure about one particular position this morning are the Edmonton Oilers.
Man.
Now, people were really upset with me when I tweeted that I was looking forward to the Oilers game more than the Leafs game on Saturday because they were like taking it as an insult. I'm like, no, the Oilers got blown out. They were pissed off. I want to see what pissed off Edmonton Oilers look like in Vancouver.
Oh, that's what we were all saying. And it kind of went the way we thought. Edmonton killed them.
Yeah.
They outshot them, I think, 41-16? Something stupid like that.
It took until 15:40 of the first period till Vancouver got their first shot on goal.
Isn't that nuts?
Did it go in?
No, it was like a week. I took a picture of the screen because I was trying to get when they would get their first shot, and I finally got it. It was like a weak one up the wing. They just kind of threw it on net, and then Skinner just stopped the play, just so you can get one on board. When you're at that point of the game, you're 5 minutes in, you don't have a shot. Just get something on net so the 0 isn't on the fucking score bug.
I agree with that. I don't hate that.
But here's the thing. It took how long did it take?
They got their first shot on goal around 15:40,
and they ended the game or ended the first period up 2-1. Vancouver Canucks did.
Oh, the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah.
Because they came back and they scored. By the end of that period, I should just bring up the box score. The shots on goal, I think, might have been in favor of Vancouver by the end of it. But it was a crazy start by Edmonton. They were off like running, and then things just kind of took a turn, as they do with Edmonton Oilers games, where their defense collapses and they have really no great structure. They're talking about how they're trying to play a box-in-one system to kind of clamp down on the defense, and it's not working, and nobody kind of has a handle on it. And Vancouver is just taking advantage of all their chances.
Oh, my God. Okay, the shots by period. The shots by period. 8-7 for Edmonton in the first.
Yeah, and they started that game 6-0 Edmonton.
Wow. Okay, so Vancouver storming back.
Yes.
Until the second period, when Edmonton outshot them 18-6. Tripled up on them. Only to be outdone in the third period. The Oilers outshoot the Canucks 14-3. So that game went almost exactly how we thought it would. Edmonton was the better team from dawn till dusk. And they lost.
But what's the insecurity, guys?
They cannot stop a beach ball.
Right.
Neither guy.
And I was reading some of the Oilers reporters this morning. I think Spector was mentioning that Nurse and Bouchard need to be better. I don't know. And fair, but at the end of the day, they outshot them 40-16.
You need a save.
You need a fucking save.
You need a save.
I can't fault. However Nurse and Bouchard are playing to you, whether you use the eye test or the analytics or a mix of the both, it doesn't matter if you can't stop a puck. And I'm trying to figure out, listen, if they can't get Jack Campbell sorted out, the reality of the situation is if he played like he did last year, it's one of the worst contracts in the NHL.
It's not great.
And it's one of the worst contracts in the NHL for a team that cannot afford it. They are up against the cap all the time. I know Ekholm's injured. I know their defense isn't exactly where it should be. Okay, so Ekholm comes in.
One guy, man.
It is one guy, but then the thing is that my personal hopes were all in Stuart Skinner because he did play well.
Well, the Avalanche were able to survive missing Cale Makar, and they're missing Matthias Ekholm. He's good. He's really good.
He was back on Saturday.
Oh, he was.
Okay.
Well, then holy shit.
The Sam Lafferty goal, that was the winner in the third period. He danced around Matthias Ekholm. Like, he came up and he went right around the guy that's supposed to be...
Which is a little unfair to Ekholm because he just got back.
Yeah, he had a hip flexor injury. Like, I get that. It's your first game back, obviously. But, like, Lafferty went around Ekholm, and that was the game winner.
And I'm watching it on my phone.
Yeah. Do you have it there?
He
And
you need a save
and
there,
Stuart
man.
Skinner's fucking useless on that play.
You need a save for God's sake. And I think he might have.
I think
hurt,
BX
too.
did a breakdown on the new wood.
The Boston one.
Yeah. Okay, fine. They haven't adjusted to that system yet. I'm sorry, none of it matters.
No.
Even if they had nailed that system, you can't prevent every shot. I want to show you something, guys. So you look at the box score from Saturday night, even if you haven't seen the game. The shots are 40-16. You already know where it's tilted. But here's the secondary reinforcing point. Blocked shots. Edmonton had 9 blocked shots. Okay. Vancouver had 25.
Oh my God. So they got caved, eh?
You guys laughed at me, but Vancouver's playing a harder type of hockey.
They
Rick
are.
Tocchet's got them playing some good hockey.
Pedersen looks great,
that
man.
sure sounds
that-
like they had a good goalie against a bad one.
That's
man.
how you beat teams that are better than you. That is how you beat teams who are better than you. Things like block shots
have a
and
good
great
goalie?
and block shots and great goaltending.
No, okay. I think I understand what you're trying to
Tell me Florida didn't do that all playoffs.
Trying to say I was
100%.
right and you losers were wrong.
Yeah, you
losers.
idiots.
No, I didn't realize how bad it was because I was listening to 32 Thoughts on the way in here. The McDavid scored a goal graphic is still on the board or still on the TV as they give up a 2-0.
That goes in, yeah.
And like, I know you need a save, but fuck, how does that happen? Like basically off of a face-off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is, oh man. Like I know the beginning of the season is when pond hockey is played, but
I want to do a big shout out to the Ottawa Senators who had just a banger weekend. And I'm a Leafs fan, and I will never cheer for the Ottawa Senators to win except for right now. It's nice to see a new owner in. It was nice to see him like waving the flags and the towels and people taking selfies with him, and hundreds of fans showed up just to meet him before the game.
Yeah.
And I think Fried said it this morning on 32 Thoughts. He was like, "You'll never be more beloved than you are right now." And I hope he enjoys it. He's
Did
right.
anybody ask him if he's still a Leafs fan?
I mean, he is. So was Eugene, though.
wait, wasn't he part owner of the Habs?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Habs fan.
Yeah, but
my
I grew up in
bad.
Toronto, so we all call him.
Wrong owner.
No, but he's from here, is he not?
Yes,
Michael
he is.
Landlau?
Yeah. He started his frozen truck business here, working out of the McCain factory here, or McCain distribution point here.
Probably a
He's
big
from Toronto.
Gilmore
Went to
guy.
U of T.
He probably loves
Or
Dougie.
York.
Loves it.
Yeah. Eugene was a Leaf seasons ticket holder. That's the difference. But what was cool about it is they got 2 big wins, which was great.
Yeah.
But also it's nice to see a new guy like Tarasenko score. It's fun to see
trade
Senators
him.
fans engaged in the game, and I'm sure they're relieved too. It's
And-
not
and-
about like we'll be good in a couple years when we're maybe allowed to spend to the cap, and but you know what? Let's get to a bunch of guys together and buy a billboard with our own hard-earned cash after tax dollars, which our taxes are high in Canada.
Dude, those are not cheap.
And no, they're not cheap. they're not cheap at all. And we just want the owner out that badly. And I also love the Ottawa Senators fans for this because the Ottawa Senators fans, I think more than a lot of teams in the NHL, know their power. What were they chanting in the arena this weekend?
Wasn't it Sign Pinto?
Sign Pinto. They will tell you what they want. Kind of like Jersey fans.
And the
Fire
building was
Lindy
full.
and then sorry Lindy.
I think ownership is like, yeah, you can chant whatever you want as long as it's full.
100%.
full.
It was full. And because there's excitement. And this is a team without its two of its top 3 centermen. I mean, I love the hype around Toronto. I'm ready for Ottawa. I'm ready for the Battle of Ontario to be back. It was just feel good moment. I have to go back to hating the Sens after this, but I did want to shout it out.
See, this is where it gets interesting. If the Sens do really poorly over the first month of the season, I think we can kind of predict where things are going to go. Like they're going to try to force the issue and make sure things get done and make a move and blah blah. What if they're great?
Well,
What if they're great?
yeah.
And it's like, well, there's no rush to sign Pinto. And there's there's no point in rushing Josh Norris back. I would argue there's no point regardless. But like, what if they're just fantastic until like Halloween? How do we?
What a great start that would be.
How do we broach that subject?
The one problem they might have is that Matthew Joseph has looked really good. And they're trying to get rid of him so they can sign Pinto. And
My
he's
Maybe
looked
I
great.
was accidentally right.
But again-
and they will get a first for him.
Why was I never understood from the beginning why he was the guy?
Because of the contract. It makes
Kubalik
sense.
should be the guy.
He was the extra body that you could get rid of because people will want him and the contract, and then you bring in Pinto. But he's just might be good, and you got to find a way to fit everybody.
What if him and Pinto?
Well, what? Okay, based on contract and ability, who would you rather have? Matthew Joseph, Kubalik, or Brandstrom?
I think you'd probably drop Brandstrom because DJ Smith seems intent on dropping him anyway.
So the reason it's Matthew Joseph is because he has the most value.
Right.
And also, if you're the Sens, you're like, well, maybe we shouldn't give up on Brandstrom.
They are no. I think. Listen, I think in the Brandstrom situation, it comes down to who are you going to believe is there longer, DJ Smith or Eric Brandstrom?
Interesting.
Because DJ Smith is under low key a lot of pressure this year. He's got to win. He's got to make it happen. That's why, like, Josh Norris is apparently he hasn't even practiced, but they're like, well, we hope he can take some reps and some contact in practice, and we're gonna play him Wednesday. That's the plan right now, which is to me rushing.
They're playing on Wednesday?
I think they're playing Wednesday.
Shit.
I think they're on Wednesday Night Hockey. Are they not?
Yeah, but
yeah,
I
against
didn't
the
know
Capitals.
I didn't know he was coming back that soon.
Well, that was what they were talking about this morning on 32. But
oh wow.
Like again, that feels like rushing it for a guy that missed most of training camp.
You got to be as cautious as possible with him. He's too important to your present and your future.
If he doesn't play for a month and they go 500, they can still easily make the playoffs.
You could also retroactively put him on LTIR, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it would
Then bring Pinto back
a certain amount of time.
Yeah, he's got to miss
And you know
what is
what?
it, 28 days or something.
If you get Pinto back, they already look good. Put him on LTIR, get him ready, get him practicing, and then bring him on at Halloween. Ooh, spooky.
Eunice Corpusalo has an assist. He has more assists than Auston Matthews. There's a little fuel for you Sens fans.
Wow.
Yeah, that guy's a goalie.
A story bubbling under the surface in the southern United States. Now, some markets have been pulled back from national coverage on The Athletic, so it's a bummer that we don't have the Canes reporter that we used to have. Sarah Sivian used to give a pretty in-depth look at what was going on with the Canes. We just don't have that in the same way, at least from The Athletic. But the Hurricanes did some really interesting stuff this past summer, including not having an AHL team. Mm-hmm. Now, what do we know about the Hurricanes?
Their owner is sometimes cheap.
Extremely successful franchise, extremely cheap, and I would say stubborn owner.
Yes, he's really cheap unless you're the XFL. In which case,
he's willing to lose
so much money.
Here's $130 million. Poof. Although they exist still. So.
Oh yeah.
They are merging with the
USFL.
USFL.
Mm-hmm. How's Dwayne doing?
Dwayne Instagrammed about it, so you know he's pumped. Because I follow him on the Instagram.
No, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson is crossing over into that sphere where you're like, when I see your face, I don't like you because you're everywhere all the time.
He's entering. That's enough, Dwayne.
Yeah. It's like we chill. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Unless he shows up in WWE, and then it's like, okay, that's fine.
Unless it's there, then we're happy.
Everywhere else, that's enough, Dwayne.
Like when he opened the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's enough, Dwayne.
Tony Androdakis, who covers the AHL, is one of the best AHL guys out there. He was tweeting about this weekend. He said, hearing that several players from the Carolina Hurricanes tried to send several players not to the AHL, but to the ECHL, Norfolk, and they refused to report.
Good for them.
He said, looks like Noel Gunler is returning overseas as a part of his release from Karpat. States he'll be there for the rest of the season. So Karpat put out a thing saying he'll be there.
Finnish league.
And he didn't need to, right? But the point that a guy like him would make is it's better hockey and it's better for my development and my chances in the future to play there than the ECHL.
Yeah, so I believe in terms of money, he would have made his AHL money in the ECHL, which is all right. I think a lot of ECHL players would take that trade. But, like, are you even going to be like scouted?
Well,
Are the Hurricanes even going to know how you're performing?
and Tony Honka as well. Carolina tried to get him somewhere, and then I guess he's gone overseas as well. Like listen, is it the end of the world for the Hurricanes, who have been very, very good at the NHL level?
No.
Is it sort of silly and feels like they just don't need this distraction right now?
It's
from the management level.
It's going to hurt their development, those guys, potentially. And like, okay, I'm going to be taking a bus everywhere in the ECHL. You know what they used to call? I think it was with the Reading Royals back when that was the Leafs ECHL team. They used to call their bus the Iron Lung.
Ooh.
Like it's just picture that. Picture what a bus called the Iron Lung would look like. Yeah. And you're just gallivanting around North America with that thing.
And the thing is that listen, it doesn't hurt the Hurricanes organization. They're doing great. Their team's a Stanley Cup contender. Nobody can doubt that. But why is it that things like this, like I want to bring it back to Rod Brindamore and his coaching staff too. Here's a team that is really spectacularly built, spectacularly coached. They get great value from every trade that they make. They sign incredible RFA deals and even UFA deals. Like the Michael Bunting deal is spectacular for them. I think that is a great, great signing. They got Brent Burns for nothing. Like all these things are going well. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I question why ownership needs to do stuff like this. Who are you proving this to?
Unforced error.
We all know that Carolina at some point, probably next year, is going to have an AHL affiliate.
Mm-hmm. Guys,
like, what are we doing?
Well, it's a tactical disadvantage, right? Like every other team, if I'm not mistaken, has one.
Mm-hmm. I guess you could go to the Chicago Wolves and say, will you take this guy? But what if they say no? Because the Wolves are unaffiliated.
Well, I assume that's what happened. I mean, you could send him to another team. Like I would call all the Eastern Conference teams and try to get him into one of theirs, because like the Western Conference teams aren't going to help you, right? So like you would call the Toronto Marlies, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton
Well,
Penguins.
they loaned a goalie to the Syracuse Crunch.
Yeah. Well, that's what
goalies are a little easier.
they're trying to loan out their entire farm system. This is a ridiculous plan, and did nobody see this coming?
Oh, I'm sure
that
they did.
this is extremely difficult and terrible for the development, like you mentioned, Steve. Like the way we've seen these organizations built, and when they're trying to maximize player development, is the system where it flows completely up from an AHL affiliate that's close by, like the Toronto has with the Marlies, and then you have the coaching staff around, and you know who the players are, and they have none of that. So I just wonder how they keep an eye on all of their players.
Well, and like I'm just looking at it, like Anthony Honka, is a third-round pick from 2019. Now he's frigged off. Noel Gunler's a second-round pick from 2020,
and
41st overall.
And let's say you successfully loan Noel Gunther to the Syracuse Crunch or the Toronto Marlies or whatever. What's the guarantee that your player is going to play?
No,
Because when you have the AHL team, you could say to the head coach, yeah, it doesn't really matter what lineup you feel like icing. This player needs to develop. It's an organizational priority, so eat shit and dress him.
Yeah, and the team also just becomes a mini version of the big club, where you can enact systems and playing strategies and mentalities within your organization. When you send somebody out to just a random team, you have no idea what's going on. Like it's weird, very weird that this happened, because they knew their AHL affiliate was going to leave and go independent, and that they just kind of let it happen and they didn't push for just another team.
Yeah,
weird.
There's a jump between the two leagues. Like if you loan a guy to another AHL team, it can work out. It weirdly really worked out for Jordan Binnington.
Yeah.
Who was with the Providence Bruins, gets called up to the Blues and ends up beating the Bruins in
Hilarious.
the Stanley Cup final. There's, I'm a second-round pick. I'm not playing in the ECHL. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm
going to go play with men in Finland. Probably make more money too.
I'm not washed up. I'm 21 or however old this kid is. I think he's 21.
And it doesn't matter if these guys don't play a game in the NHL. It causes issues, like even Don Waddell and Eric Tulsky and that management crew, who I think are some of the best in the NHL.
Sure.
I wanted Eric Tulsky to be the Leafs general manager.
You never mention it.
I love him. I love him. If he's not the general manager now, I hope he is later. the reality of the situation is it just makes their life harder. And for what? So you put $100 million into the XFL, but you won't spend whatever it costs to do a licensing deal with the AHL team or whatever it is.
Now,
like, even if he bought one, what's an AHL franchise cost? $25 million?
It's a lot less. Now,
It reinforces your asset.
is this Tom Dundon's fault, or is this
I don't know if it's his fault.
wasn't this the Chicago Wolves just
Yeah.
being like, we don't want to deal with this anymore?
Yeah, so just to correct,
Yes.
because you said, why can't they loan them out to Chicago Wolves? The Chicago Wolves are the ones who
didn't want it? Yeah, because they have a good following and they can do it on their
They
own.
want to win they want to be an AHL franchise that's going out and winning games.
Which-
they don't want to
which
be an
they did,
affiliate.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which it's so strange.
But
that
you have 33 franchises in the AHL, don't you?
is it 33?
Isn't it 33? Isn't it?
I don't know.
32 or 33?
There are.
I don't know.
Listen,
AHL
find the other one.
Or come up with one. Make a team.
Maybe that's what they're going to do. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the
Yeah, but-
situation, but I just feel like this is so stupid.
If this is a possibility, like the contract with the Chicago Wolves was coming up at the end, like have a plan.
Yeah.
If you got to make a whole other team, get ready to buy a franchise for this upcoming season.
Fair enough. There are 32
There you go.
teams.
Yeah, and 31 are covered, so they needed a team.
And the
I
Wolves
don't know.
No.
Okay.
But
This
I
is
still feel like
never-
there could have been a plan worked out. Don't tell me there couldn't have been.
This has never happened. Like, I certainly can't think of it ever happening. Can you loan a player to another NHL team?
I think you can.
No.
So, like,
There's
the
no way.
Hurricanes could approach, I don't know, the Ducks, the Anaheim Ducks, who just beat them, and loan Gunter to their team.
Like the big
think-
club?
Gunler.
No, that's not allowed.
Why not? You can do it. KHL does it, I'm pretty sure. Although, who gives a shit what they do? And soccer teams do it all the time.
Yeah, but the NHL rules, you're asking if that's allowed? It's not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can do it on AHL, ECHL, Europe, but you can't do it between an.
Yeah, that's stupid. Then it'd be like, oh, loan Auston Matthews to the Calgary Flames because they're going on a run and the Leafs suck right now.
I
like
bet they asked the question. I bet
would.
they asked, like, why not? It seems like an obvious solution.
these are fake scenarios we make up in like press conference questions. What if you could loan a player to another team?
You should.
For a playoff run.
You should be able.
Regardless of all that, I do think the Canes have got to figure this out sooner rather than later. I doubt it goes beyond this year. And I know there's going to be a bunch of Canes fans who jump to Tom Dundon's and the management group's support, and I get it. Why wouldn't you love those guys? My point is that this seems like a really weird way to handle this, and they probably could have had this sorted out.
Well, let's at least meet at this is bad. This situation.
Can we meet
is
at that?
bad.
Yeah, not
let's-
ideal, even?
Yeah, this is sub-ideal.
Sub-ideal. Victor Arvidsson may need back surgery, could be out for months.
No.
That sucks.
That really... Talk about a super valuable player for the LA Kings.
Really, really valuable guy. Versatile guy. They need the goal scoring on account of they need saves that they're not going to get. So that is, wow. That's a big hit for the Kings.
Bummer.
Didn't know that.
It again, could. We don't know. Murat Ates, who is the athletic reporter for the Winnipeg Jets, spectacular reporter, did the first real interview with Pierre Luc Dubois, and talked to him about, he forced his way out of 2 franchises. What does he think about it? And I wanted to read a couple of the quotes because I feel like they're relevant. But I encourage you to read the article because it's really good and it's long. He said, I knew when I asked for my trade from Columbus, I'd get criticized. I knew when the situation happened in Winnipeg, I'd get criticized. And I had to look at it like, do I not want to get criticized? Do I not want to get criticized, but not get what I want to do? Or do I want to get criticized, but be happy with my life? And what he said was, the price to pay for what I did is that you have people who have no idea who I am, and I have no idea who they are, which would be us. I've never met them, or I've barely met them, and they criticize you. And he said, but when I retire at the end of my career, they're going to forget about me, and I'm going to forget about them. And I won't forget my journey, my family, my friends, and we won't forget my journey. So the price you pay to get criticized by people who don't, the price that you pay is to get criticized by people who don't really know you.
I think it's one thing leads to another, right? Like, he forced his way out of Columbus. He did. I don't think he forced his way out of Winnipeg.
He was just non-committal to Winnipeg.
He just said, I'm not going to re-sign here, which is...
I mean, that's a force. What's Winnipeg going to do?
Oh, like they could
like-
have stuck with him if they wanted to, you know.
In
sit
Columbus, he dogged it.
Yeah.
Right? He had that one very infamous shift where he dogged it, and it seemed like, fucking just get me out of here. I'm not going to play for your team. Winnipeg, guy tried his ass off and had some really great seasons there, and just said, I'm not going to return.
He played great in Winnipeg, especially
And then
last year.
gave him the opportunity to trade him. And
For great assets.
I thought they did pretty well in the deal. I don't think he's a bad guy. Saying he forced his way out of two teams, I think is maybe not breaking the truth, but it's bending it.
And I like that perspective that he has. I made a tough decision. A lot of people are going to hate me, but in the end, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, it's my life.
I mean, he's in
Very
LA.
I'm in LA. Could be worse.
He gets to live in LA.
Making $1 bajillion.
I heard being rich in LA is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Never experienced it. Maybe one day.
Well, sell your seat.
Since we're on the Jets, did you guys see anything about the attendance numbers with the Jets game?
Bad.
Because they haven't been great.
Why is that?
Yeah, I didn't find any reasons on why the attendance has been a little bit poor, but like they're not hitting 14,000 fans for a game.
Now they only have 15,000, I think, in the arena. But
Yeah.
even so,
You'd
that
think-
usually is packed.
You think if your arena is smaller than most, you'll be able to sell it out?
Should you be stoked on the Jets?
Yeah, the re-signing of Scheifele and Hellebuck means like we're not going to be bad.
Yeah, but that just happened, right? So like with all that season ticket stuff happened months ago. Like the push to basically the second the season is done, even before in some cases they're like, hey, renew your season seats. Hey, get that done. And enough people were like, meh, you're the Jets. Like they Hellebuck, it's encouraging that they're going to try. Scheifele, it's encouraging that they're going to try. Maybe this kind of shows why they felt like they had to do those deals because they knew something we didn't.
The fan base was waning.
Ticket sales were soft. And, winning cures all. If they win, fans will go. But easier said than done.
I'd like to ask Brady about the vibes in Winnipeg. If the collective population there is really behind this team right now.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I mean, the way they ended last year, where Rick Bowness comes out and goes, "Oh, that was soulless."
Yeah,
I can understand. He didn't put a good sell on for the next season.
What about how last season ended made you go, "Oh yeah"? And even though they were able to keep Scheifele and keep Hellebuck, oh cool, let's run this back. Great.
Scheifele had a fight. He's
he's had a good start to the season.
Yeah, a really good start.
But I could see how the average fan would look at this year's team and compare it to last year's team and think it's worse. I wouldn't
think it's
say
better.
that. I do actually kind of think it's better, but it's got less star power than it did.
Okay. Well, if Blake Wheeler is still a star, right?
Oh, well, I wouldn't. Well,
And
I mean, that's
PLD.
the captain, right? He's a popular guy.
Yep.
Fans liked him.
The last thing I want to do before we do a quick press conference is this. Did you see Columbus's tribute to Jonathan Quick?
Yes,
Being there?
hilarious. Hilarious.
Shout out Columbus. Hilarious.
Shout out to the
Thank you for
That's funny
having a
shit.
sense of humor.
Yep.
And I like that Quick was down with it too.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought that was funny.
He spent one day there. I don't even think he ever put on a jersey, but good for him.
Blue Jackets gave him a ring.
Did they?
Well, they sent him to Vegas.
Oh, they gave him a ring. I thought they have a team ring.
Oh no, no. Although they should give him one of those too.
They should. They should. All right, let's do the press conference.
The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Steve Dangle, if you give me a moment here, I got to yell at you for half a second.
Okay.
Last episode, we had a very contentious debate. And by contentious debate, I mean you were being a little unreasonable because I was showing you something and you did not want to believe it.
What happened?
So a lovely Twitter user
Oh, I know.
named Random Guy Canadian CDN tweeted us this picture. The tweet says, "Here's a picture of my game puck used from Vegas versus Jets Game 3 of last year's playoffs."
Cool.
And for those of you on audio who are listening to this episode, You will see on the screen right now is the used game puck from the Jets Golden Knights game last year. On the used puck are 6 little dots going around the middle of the puck.
Is it 3 or 6, Jesse? I don't believe
those 6 little pucks, I was going to say 3 on each side, but then I stopped myself at 6 dots. Those 6 little dots are the sensors that the NHL uses with their collection of cameras around the arena to do puck tracking.
Wow.
And those 6 sensors are the sensors on the puck. And yes, when you get a used puck from the team, it does have the sensors on them.
This is the content that liberal media doesn't want you to see.
Yes, Jesse. So
what do you say now about you questioning the existence of the sensors?
Well, that's interesting evidence, Jesse, but what of my feelings? Have you considered vibes?
We also got a message in the SDP conversation chat thread on our Discord where people are just talking about the episode. And we got a message from Scott. Scott says, hey, Robert, he added Robert, at 39:50 of the podcast today, Jesse brings up an article about a player and puck tracking, and the article references the company SMT. I work for SMT. If they ever have any further questions about it, I'd be willing to answer some for them. Can ensure for Steve that the pucks with the trackers are not prototypes and they are real deal being used in the game.
Cool.
So we have somebody at SMT who is the company behind the sensors who is willing to come on and chat if you want to talk to him.
I love that. Would love to know everything about it.
So I got their email and we can ask them a couple questions.
Oh, that'd be great.
The puck tracking.
I love it. I love it. See? You're welcome. Me being stupid led to this wonderful opportunity. You're welcome. What a gift for you guys.
Jesse,
always.
Do you have any other questions that you'd like to do?
No, I had a couple of things, but like we can get to it.
I have one quick thing I want to run by you guys.
Sure.
Okay, and this is from Jesse Marshall, our good friend
Yes.
in Pittsburgh. He said, very troubling. This is a thing that he pulled from the internet. Very troubling that the song Monster Mash isn't the Monster Mash. Mm-hmm. It's a song about the Monster Mash, which is not itself heard on the track. So, and it says that basically means that the Monster Mash is fundamentally unknowable to us. Nobody knows the Monster Mash or has heard the Monster Mash. We've only heard about it.
Damn.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. It's the first tweet I read this morning, and it kind of fucked me up.
What if it's terrifying?
What if it is?
What if it's not catchy?
We don't know the choreography. We don't know the tune. We don't know anything.
Oh my God.
We don't even know what key it's in.
That makes no sense.
Jesse, are you trying to wrap the show up?
I can't hit the button, but in our minds right now,
All
the button is
fine.
playing.
Happy birthday, CJ. Congratulations to you, my friend. We're so excited for you joining the Athletic one more time.
Yeah, listen to the newest episode, Asian Provocateur, featuring Brian Burke, Alan Walsh, and some guy named Adam Wylde. It's very good.
But the other two are more important, let's be honest.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.